Yo, what's shaking, everybody? Welcome to a Thursday edition of the Orange Bloods Modcast here on Orange Bloods Live. I'm Jeff Ketchum, joined as always, not always, but most of the time, Jason Sukumo, Alex Dunlap, and Anwar Richardson. Guys, do us a solid. Just hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, get notifications. It's my birthday. Consider it a birthday wish. Just go ahead.
Oh, happy birthday, Catch. Happy birthday. I haven't told you yet, brother. Congratulations.
I wasn't trying to solicit that as much as I was trying to solicit some thumbs up and some subscriptions, but I will take it. And we'll also take your comments in the Specs chat, any super chats that any of you guys want to get involved in. Like, we're down for that for sure. Big news today.
What is Catch getting for his birthday? Like, what is Catch outside of peace and calm and serenity, right? Like, is there a wish list of thing you want Catch today?
No. You know, like, you guys are old. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Leave me alone, right?
I just, I wanted to nap earlier and my wife's dog wouldn't shut up. So much for what I wanted on my birthday. My mom's going to cook like the family dinner later. We'll have a nice dinner. It'll be cool.
I can't say the things I ask for on my birthday on
And that's just from his best friends, not even. We're talking about the news of the day, and Anwar, I'll come to you first on this because you've got stuff in the oven.
Literally.
Quinn Ewers is the EA Sports NCAA cover boy. I'm 48 today, so these things matter less than they would have back in the day when I was in college and in dynasty mode and doing all of these things. But, it's been a while since they've had a game, and it's been a while since there's been a cover boy, a decade. As a matter of fact, you go back to 2013 with Denard Robinson from Michigan was the last cover boy before Quinn Ewers, Travis Hunter, and Donovan Edwards all make the list. I can go back through this, and we will maybe in a little bit. It's not everything, because for every Reggie Bush, there's weirdly an Owen Schmidt from West Virginia who was on the cover in 2008, along with Deshaun Jackson, Matt Ryan, and Darren McFadden. Way to go, Owen Schmidt. Just crashed your way through that. Anwar, how big is this?
It's big, man, because here's how I know it's big. It's not big in my life, but I know on social media where people reside, I know it's huge for them. The leaks, Alex and I were talking about this morning, like the leaks that have been coming out, and everyone has just gone crazy over the potential leaks that have been out there from the official release today. Catch, it's one of those things you ever watch a music show or award show and you see a genre of music and someone wins, an award for that. And you think to yourself, I don't even know who that person is, right? But they ended up winning, or they got the most popular votes, and they've got 20 million followers on Twitter. But for my everyday life, like you, it doesn't affect me. But I can tell, Catch, just from the pulse out there, there's a lot of people, young people, older people who are really excited about this. I think it's actually a pretty big deal.
So I'm looking at this. No Aggie has ever been on the cover of the NCAA football game. No Oklahoma Sooner has been on the cover either. The Longhorns have been on the cover 3 times. 3 different Longhorns have been on the cover. I'm curious, Alex, Jason, can you guess the 2 Longhorns prior to Quinn Ewers who have been college football cover boys?
I already looked it up, so I'll let Jason know.
I'm trying to remember when this game came out. I remember playing it when I was in college, so that was a long time.
The first year was 1993. The first player that was on the cover of the game.
Well, then I would go K-Drag in the chat just said Ricky and Vince would be my 2 guesses.
Ricky Williams is correct. And I remember that. I can remember playing that game.
But not
you're never going to guess the second one. We could give him 15 guesses. We could give him 25 guesses.
Give me a hint, offense or defense.
The defensive player.
Defense.
Oh gosh, that really makes it tough.
And it's a Mac Brown player.
Corey Redding?
No.
Earl
Now-
Tom. Huh?
I'm just real quick to Alex. Now I am curious to see how we've told him what side of the ball it is. So let's see how long he takes him to get it. Okay.
Earl Thomas,
No.
Michael Huff,
No.
Griffin,
No.
Arakpo. I give up already.
Fifth chance. You got it with Arakpo.
Oh, well, someone else already had put it out there, but okay. That's
Brian
a little surprising. I mean,
Arakpo.
really good player, but they had better players than him, so that's surprising. Okay.
In 2009, so no Colt McCoy. It was Brian Arakpo, Brian Johnson from Utah, Mark Sanchez, and Michael Crabtree. So it's been done before. Like, part of me was like, I'm asking this question, how big is this? And it's not, there's a part of me that thinks this isn't that big of a deal, that I've never once referenced Ricky Williams. Now that, we're 25 years and beyond his career, no one ever says Ricky Williams, Heisman winner, 2-time rushing champion, EA Sports cover boy. And quite honestly, I've never heard that with Arakpo. And I before this morning, Jason, I wouldn't have guessed Arakpo either.
The only reason I guessed is because someone in the chat mentioned it, and I was like, okay, that's as good a guess as any. I didn't know they were giving me the answers.
So, it's there's a part of me that thinks this is big now, and then it's forgotten in 12 months.
Yeah, maybe it's the old man in me. But I mean, it's a nice feather in Quinn Ewers' cap, but I'm with you, dude. 12 months from now, you know what? 5 years from now, if you say who was the last Longhorn cover boy for EA Sports College Football, I probably won't remember that it was Quinn Ewers. I mean, maybe that's just the old man in me, like I said, because I tell you what, my Twitter timeline is full of mentions and videos and pictures. So maybe it's important.
Every time Wes does a YouTube short on this game, it does the best numbers of all of the YouTube shorts that we're doing. People by the tens of thousands are looking at it. So I think maybe the coolest part of this for Ewers, for Travis Hunter, for Donovan Edwards, because there are some historic Hall of Fame names on this. Reggie Bush being on the cover in 2006 after he'd won the Heisman. Boy, I bet on Orange Bloods there were people pissed that wasn't Vince Young. But Desmond Howard, Larry Fitzgerald, Carson Palmer, Sean Alexander, there have been some like college Hall of Fame level players on this game. I think the thing that makes this coolest, because the last guy that was on the cover was Denard Robinson. Like, what does that really mean for him? I barely remember Denard Robinson. I sure as hell don't remember that he was on the cover of the game, but there's been an 11-year break since this game has existed. And I think to be on the cover, the two things I thought today was to be on the cover this year, there's a real novelty to it that maybe in 4 years there won't be. And then it's hard not to think about Arch Manning. I wondered, Anwar, if EA Sports could have Arch Manning on the cover.
I mean, the question, if you're Arch, and this becomes I think the issue, right? If you're Arch, because first of all, there's a couple of misconceptions. Like, everyone thinks like everyone got $600. Everyone didn't get $600. Some people got more than that. The cover boys didn't get $600. Like those guys got more than like the $6, right? So it might be the person at UTSA that got $6, but these guys on the cover got a pretty penny for it. But if you're Arch and you're going to have your name, image, and likeness sold to EA Sports, it's got to be a pretty penny, because you've got to know, like, what did they make? Hundreds of millions? Did they make $1 billion off the game? Like, what's their revenue stream off of this, right? It's got to be something. If they can pay every kid $600 who opts in, they've got to, I don't know what that number looks like, but I'm assuming it's got to be an ungodly amount of money that they're bringing in. If you're Arch, you don't sell it for $500,000. You don't sell your name for $1 million. Like, you're like, dude, if you want me, you paying, dog. You're paying, because I know how much money you're gonna make. I would do it if I was Arch. I wouldn't do it any less than like 10 to 15 mil.
The question though is, would they, if they could have Arch Manning on the cover right now, if they could just say what they want to do, and cost and complications weren't a factor. And I bring this up. We talked about this. This was a graphic that Fox Sports tweeted out just a couple of days ago. It's a look ahead to all of the big events going on Fox. You've got Cowboys and Cowboys and Browns and Alabama and Wisconsin, and there's Texas and Michigan, and up in that top right-hand corner, that is not Quinn Ewers.
That's crazy. How did I not see that? That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't. So many people did not notice that originally. It's crazy.
Wow.
That is not the starting quarterback of the University of Texas that's on the same marquee with Tom Brady and Dak Prescott. So I'm just, it's kind of amazing that the Longhorns have 2 quarterbacks on their roster right now with such incredibly high profiles. There's nothing else quite like it in college football. On one hand, you've got a guy who's a cover boy, Alex. And on the other hand, you've got a guy who Fox Network would rather promote their product this fall with the guy who's the backup to the guy on EA Sports.
That was an accident, though, right? That had to be an accident. That was just an intern that didn't know, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No.
You don't let the intern run your Fox Sports Twitter account like that.
I mean, if Major League Baseball and soccer and NFL teams let the interns do it, then I'm sure they do.
They only let the interns do it when someone gets in trouble. That's the only time an intern was in charge of the Twitter account. It's never day to day. It's never day to day.
I can't.
If that tweet gets an award later this year, is like best. There's like a big, like, I don't know, like, so some company gives out the best looking tweets stylistically and stuff like that. That's not an intern accepting that award if it's successful.
I legit think that's a mistake. That Fox.
There's no way, Alex.
I'm with Alex, dude. Maybe Alex and I are naive, but I think
you guys are naive. Do you not know how big companies are run? Like, it has to go through somebody.
You do realize that, like, there's a specific games that they're profiling. They would have creatively had a specific list of people that they, like, the women's basketball player from UConn.
Exactly. So I don't know who that person is. If somebody told me that and
she's famous.
And I typed her in. But
it's not an accident that they selected her.
Okay, but listen, Catch. What I'm saying is this. If I was the guy that was in charge of the social media and they told me to put whatever that girl's name is, I might search her. I might have found a picture of her that was like where she was tagged in it because one of her teammates, like, it's a story about her, but it's about her teammate is on the.
I don't believe in a world of accidents.
The image. You know what I'm saying? I think it was going to be somebody who doesn't know the difference between Quinn, because why not put Quinn Ewers on whenever he's the co-favorite to win the Heisman?
Because Arch Manning is in this weird twist of fate that Quinn Ewers sometimes has to wonder, what did I walk into? How could this possibly be my world? He's the second most valuable quarterback property on the Texas Longhorns roster. That Arch Manning is. Did an intern on the day that Arch Manning had the spring game, and the only college football headline that made it over to the main section of like ESPN. But if you went to Fox, I've got screenshots of all of it. I couldn't believe it. Only one story in college football on a day when a number of the biggest programs in the country had their spring games. The only national headline was Arch Manning.
But Arch had a monster spring game.
He did throw for 300 and some odd yards. I'm with Alex. I think it's probably a mistake by the graphic artist, but some editor or somebody should have caught it. Like Anwar said, there probably were 10 eyes that viewed that graphic.
Listen, Jason, and I know Alex had to pop off for a second. This is like a game of double dutch. And these networks cannot wait to jump into the Arch Manning thing. Like, there is no way that was a quote unquote mistake. Arch is probably the biggest name in college football as a number 2 guy at the University of Texas. I don't believe that's an accident by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think that was an oversight. I don't think someone meant to put in Quinn. Like, that Google's that person knows Google, like that. They know how to do those things. They have meetings. They sat in boardrooms. It had to be presented, on a screen.
Some nerdy kid though who's never watched college football did the actual graphic.
He is Arch Manning,
tucked away in a corner with a helmet on. His number, his jersey doesn't show.
On our channel. Yeah, I know. Catch can attest to this. Catch. We hit 100,000 on that Arch Manning video within how many days? A week? 2?
It wasn't long. It was like startling how much attention that video got. I mean, Arch Manning is the single most valuable piece of property in college football. Guys. It's just not an accident that the most valuable piece of property from a player standpoint in college football ends up on that. I believe that was very specific.
After the spring game, I'm kind of hovering around outside of Moncrief, right? Stalking recruits. And a couple guys come out, and I think T'Vondre Sweat was there too. And some of these grown men not just kids. It was kind of awkward, but they're like getting autographs, right? When Arch came out, dude, boom, it was a swarm of people. And like Arch's friends and people had to be like, come on, dude, we got to keep you moving. Otherwise, you're never going to get out of here. And then Quinn came out about 15 minutes later. He was walking with 2 teammates. I don't remember who it was, but nobody stopped Quinn. He just walked right by him. So,
I'm not denying the gravitational pull of Arch Manning. I think that Fox would think that they would look stupid putting the backup there. That's all.
I think nobody.
Okay, but then why didn't Fox issue a retraction the next day and put out a new graphic?
Because people don't issue retractions anymore.
Yes, they do. They do that all the time, Alex.
About an image that goes out on social media. When's the last one you saw?
I think you just correct. They're verified. They can change the picture and edit it, and they can update it. I mean, there are things that they could have done. It's not a big deal. It's not like they even would need to issue an apology. And look, they're within their rights to put Arch Manning in that graphic if they want to. All they care about is that more people tune in to watch those games, and that graphic helps them do that. I don't know that they're wrong for putting Arch Manning. I can tell you this. We've jokingly had conversations on Orange Bloods where we've said, hey, man, it might make sense to do an Arch Manning video just because those always hit. You can't do enough Arch Manning videos. I don't remember really saying, and I think I did a Quinn Ewers video earlier this week, but not under the thought of, got to get some clicks today. So I'm just going to do a Quinn Ewers video because that is the magic potion. It's a strange world that we live in. And I think if you're Texas, it speaks to, I think, its new place in the world of college football. The other component of the EA cover this year is that there's one SEC player on the cover. Now there is an extended cover where there are 6 players in it, and Jalen Milroe is on that cover. But in terms of the main cover, where it, officially there are 3 cover boys, the SEC player, I love it when Jason's old man phone rings.
I even have my notifications off. I don't understand, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
But no, I was just going to say he's the SEC player. You've got a Colorado player, and I think it's probably more about Deion Sanders and tapping into what that is. That Colorado right now is a big brand because of Deion. And then they go and get the national champion. Donovan Edwards kind of represents Michigan. You had to have an SEC player on it. You have to. You can't have college football come out and then the conference that dominates college football not be a part of the cover. It says a lot about where Texas under Sarkisian has gone, where in a very short amount of time, that as Texas moves into year 1 in the SEC, they are representing the SEC, and nobody really blinked about it. I didn't see a lot on social media where Alabama fans were like, how dare a Texas player be the only Texas has weirdly been adopted and co-opted in a way by the SEC that even before they played a game there, they feel like they're legitimized in that world. And I think this is a tiny example of that.
Yeah. And it also, by the way, Carson Beck is in there as well, Catch.
As one of the 6 guys.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to upload it for us to have it here because I was just kind of going back through it, and I can get it up here in just 1 second. But
this is like the alternate cover, but they're not. This picture that you're going to show is not the main cover.
Okay, but I'm just saying in this one, Carson Beck is in the right-hand side, so it's like Travis Hunter, Edwards, Ewers, and to the right, very small, by the way. You can see Beck to the right of Milrow. Yeah. So, so there, now you say this is the alternate cover. This is not the main one with the.
That is not the main cover.
That's not the main one with the 3 guys.
That's the
deluxe. There's different levels of the game. I think that's the deluxe edition cover, right?
Yes.
There's like 3 levels of the. That's $150. But
the main cover of the game, and the 3 guys that will officially be remembered as the cover guy. I'm looking at a list right now that's like year by year. The 3 guys considered to be the cover boys of this game are Quinn Ewers, Travis Hunter, and Donovan Edwards.
Donovan Edwards sure has had a kind of out of nowhere. I mean, everybody thought he was going to have a big season this season, and then Blake Corum returns, and it's like Donovan Edwards didn't take over in the way that we all thought that he might with Corum coming off that. It's great. Does he seem like, because it feels like he's the one in the middle, right? Is he? Oh, so it's Hunter, the one that's in the middle of the regular one, and not Quinn. Does Donovan Edwards feel like the marquee top player in the whole country to you guys?
They had to have a Michigan guy on the cover. They won the national championship. He had 100 yards in the national championship game on, I don't know, like 6 or 7 carries. I think they're banking on, by the end of the season, no one will question why he was on the cover.
You would, but I don't know. I mean,
but he was the backup running back last year behind Blake Corum.
I hate to say it, but I mean, if you were asking me if I was putting a running back on, I would think they would have put on Ollie Gordon.
Oh, Ollie Gordon's just a guy.
Yeah, well, if we're talking best, I mean, listen,
Ollie Gordon's sick. Like
Travis Hunter played on the Colorado team that won how many games last year?
But again, that's about Dion. It's about tapping into.
Well, it's about market. Same reason, same reason Arch possibly was intentionally inserted in that graphic. I get it. Marketing Travis Hunter, but yeah, I mean, Alex, you're right. He's a backup running back, rushed for less than 500 yards last year, but he's from the national champion Michigan Wolverines, had a big national championship game. So it's all marketing.
Yeah. And if they'd had some guys that come back, Michigan, just like Texas, loses a lot of guys to the NFL. So if Blake Corum comes back for another year, he's the guy. If JJ McCarthy comes back, he's the guy. I think Michigan just ran out of guys, and they've got a corner they could put in the game, but nobody really knows his name. I'm telling you, they're gambling that by the end of the year, Donovan Edwards is an All-American, that, if he's used the way Michigan uses their running backs, he's just been waiting for his time. And but again, I think it's just really interesting how quickly Texas, the athletic department brand, we've been talking this week, 14 Big 12 championships. I think they still have rowing to do. So they could still get up to 15, I suppose, but they have the highest amount of success in the Big 12 from a total number of championships this year, more than any other year in the history of the Big 12, any school, but certainly Texas as well. That at this exact moment that it's entering the SEC, it feels more like SEC is claiming Texas than Texas is automatically, and maybe it's mutual, maybe it's 50-50, but whereas a lot of these schools have entered the conference and it feels like they have to earn their way into respectability as a conference team. It feels like A&M has been chasing that. I think they got it with Manziel to a certain extent, but over the course of a decade plus, they don't get treated and counted the same as LSU, Alabama, Georgia, even at Tennessee. I think they're still trying to do that. And I think Texas arrives in year one, and it feels like they're the shiny toy that the SEC kind of gets to hold up and play with first out under the Christmas tree. And it wouldn't have been like this a year ago. And all it took was one big year. And now this whole conversation, I think, feels and sounds different than we probably thought it might have 12 months ago.
Yeah, I think you're 100% correct, Catch. Like, think about this, right? You've got teams who are going into the Big 12, but they'll have to earn their stripes. Like BYU is going to have to earn their stripes, or UCF, right? Cincinnati, and to a certain degree, Houston, right? But these are teams, Arizona State, right? They're coming in there. But you're gonna have to earn a Mike Gundy's respect, right? When it's all said and done.
All those teams are better than Baylor, man. It's crazy. It's like they have to go earn respect from this little pissant school. So crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? But
Yep.
I think that the thing is, Alex, is that those teams were added out of necessity. I think Texas and Oklahoma were added because the SEC wanted those teams, right?
Yeah.
They didn't need them. They wanted them, and they coveted them. And so the Big 12 just had to grab anybody. Whoever's left, let's just go ahead and make sure we can survive as a conference. And so the welcoming of open arms for Texas, you're correct on that, Catch. The commissioner of the SEC is going to be here in Austin when they do the countdown. Like, it's going to be like a New Year's Eve ball kind of thing when they do the countdown into July 1st, when Texas officially gets into the SEC. There's going to be a big party. Del Conte's going to be here. SEC officials are going to be here. Like, there is that like welcoming in there. And I think it does help, Catch, that Texas comes in as a program that everyone looks at and says, oh, okay, they belong. Like, this is not just, again, we just added in Arizona State because we needed a program. This is a team that they said, okay, you know what? They went out there and they beat an Alabama team. Like, they went out there and they won their Big 12 conference. All right, yeah, they got to the playoffs. That's what SEC teams are supposed to do. And I think that helps out a lot as far as Texas making a transition, helps with Steve Sarkisian making it relevant, and it helps to have a good quarterback. So, and who, like you said, may not always get respect in maybe at Fox or something like that, but is literally going to get respect as far as college football is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I think that plays into about how putting Arch on the we talk so much about Arch. Like, it goes to show you like I said, the gravitational pull that Arch has. That we're supposed to be a show about Quinn Ewers being on the cover. It feels like we've talked more about Arch Manning, but I think that goes into with Quinn being on the cover. I don't think that clearly Texas didn't go to the SEC because of what they did. Texas and a Texas value to the SEC is same with Oklahoma. It's in their brand and all the money and eyeballs they bring and stuff like that. But onward, do you think that ASU is a bigger because didn't Big 12 bring in Utah?
Yes,
dude. I like they brought in some teams that are going to be better than them, dude. I think that they. I do agree with what you're saying. It's like Texas and Oklahoma got cherry picked, right? But it does feel like some of the Big 12 teams that they brought in were ones that are just like, well, gosh, we just need the numbers and stuff. But I was just looking at like some of this, like they might not be too happy that they brought in teams like Utah and stuff. I think good teams like Utah are about to run that conference.
Potentially, I don't know who is the face of what's the team to beat every year in and year out.
Yeah.
Going
the conference without one of those now. They don't have a flagship.
No. And I don't even know what their biggest, it's kind of hard to find like a huge rivalry that you'd say to yourself, like, oh man, that's must-see TV. And like Texas, Oklahoma is, or Texas and A&M is, or Florida, Georgia, or anything like that. Like, you look at some of them, I guess
might be Arizona State. Like, I don't know what
Utah,
else.
BYU, Kansas,
BYU, but I don't know who's
the Holy War is a good one, Jason. The BYU Utah, that actually that might be the one that I'd rank number one.
Alex kind of segued. I was looking at this as we're talking. Like, so you got, Texas and Oklahoma. Okay, go to the SEC. Is Oklahoma a bigger addition for the SEC than Southern Cal is for the Big Ten?
No.
So you think? I agree. I think USC's probably, because I'm looking at all the ads. USC, Washington, Oregon, and UCLA in the Big Ten.
But USC has all that Rose Bowl history with the Big Ten, and
we're in agreement. Because I'm looking at that and I was like, I don't know that Oklahoma better be thankful they're kind of attached to the hip with Texas. but because otherwise, I mean, if the SEC could just go out and pluck anybody they wanted, I think USC is the bigger draw there, personally.
How are you going to call it the SEC?
Well, exactly. Well, the regional footprint.
Yeah.
I don't know that matters a whole lot when the Big Ten is going out to Cali too. But
Jason, I'm sure if the SEC had a choice, and they could have acquired FSU instead of maybe in Oklahoma, they probably would have wanted that. But obviously FSU locked into, was it a catch? It seems like a 30-year deal, something crazy, and that FSU can't get out of their deal. So
does Clemson have the same deal as FSU?
Yeah.
Although they just
They all signed their grant of rights away for like 3 decades.
yeah,
And then they're trying to find legal loopholes to get out of deals that they agreed to. I just think, man, if you're an Oklahoma fan, an administrator, it is beyond the realm of irony. It's beyond that. This is more than irony. That from a football standpoint, they own the Big 12 from 2000 for 2 decades. Texas is chasing them. Texas wants to be them. Texas hasn't had any success in football since 2000. Really, I mean, 2018, okay, but really 2009. And as they go into the SEC, it's Oklahoma that's having its chops, its readiness questioned. Whereas Texas, and 12 months ago, we would have been we would have questioned Oklahoma too, but Texas was a question mark. It was a question mark under Steve Sarkisian. And now SEC fans are counting Texas as like they're going to be in the playoffs. When we are at the beginning of the season are talking about which programs are going to be in the 12-team playoffs and who, if they get left out, would it represent a disappointing season. There's like 7 or 8 schools where if they don't make it, it's like, oh, God, they underperformed. They did not live up to what they should have. But Texas is in that 8. If they're not in the playoffs at the end of the season, there will be a lot of people who feel like, intro year to the SEC or not, they're supposed to be there. And they're supposed to be there thing has happened really quickly. If you're an OU fan, you just have to wonder, like, what bizarro world am I living in where, A, we beat them last year, 2, we beat them every year for the most part, and 3, like, we're the football program that for the last 20 years, if you were entering the SEC, it would be OU, I think, that would have been the one being celebrated. I think OU to the SEC nationally is a total afterthought. And I don't really see, even from SEC corners, a lot of hype around this Oklahoma coming into the conference. It's all pointed at Texas. And like I said, if I'm an OU fan, I have to wonder, what the hell just happened? How did this happen?
Well, I think, honestly, the answer is not what an Oklahoma fan would want to hear, Catch. But the answer is Lincoln Riley left. Yep. And when Lincoln Riley left, Hollywood left. And that's just kind of what it was. And I think if Lincoln Riley's still there, and I'm not saying Venables isn't a good coach or anything like that, but Lincoln Riley was that guy. I think he was the marquee person. And Riley's there. He's going one quarterback after another, one high draft pick after another, one Heisman candidate after another.
Caleb Williams would have been the quarterback for Oklahoma if Lincoln Riley stays at Oklahoma.
Yes.
And what I always said whenever this happened, they're like, look, Venables is a fine coach, right? He was a hot candidate, whatever. But the line of success, like everything from Stoops and all you got Heupel now who's out there. You got what Cliff Kingsbury's done. And then you have Riley, and he was the successor and all that. And there was this line of this kind of proven formula that Oklahoma had, and it kind of came from Stoops, right? Came from Stoops, like going to Texas and being a Texas fan. Right after college, at a time when Bob Stoops was the head coach over there, and you see him across the field from your head coach, man, you pucker up looking at Stoops, man. This dude's like, this guy's about to give it to us. You know what I mean? Like, it's like And it was the coaches underneath him and the Manginos, and like it was just always, man. It's his philosophy, his system, all that stuff. They decided they were going to have a clean break from it. Try something entirely new. And I think they'll be successful. I think they'll be fine. But I mean, I don't think any Oklahoma fan would say that losing Riley, it wasn't just the glitz and the glamour of a Lincoln Riley and using Caleb Williams and losing all that stuff, right? For in the case of just one season, it's something like they're gonna need to remake what it is that they do as far as any lineage and coaching tree that kind of goes through that program.
Guys, let's wrap it up. We've been talking about the EA Sports, the release of the game today. Quinn Ewers, he's a cover boy, and somehow we got through this video without Anwar and I debating the merits of him being a cover boy. Admit it. You thought that was going to happen before the video started.
Yes, I did. But hey, before we wrap up, Catch, Jason, Alex. Okay, how about Jason? Because Alex, he probably won't. You want to sing Catch Happy Birthday, Jason? Alex?
Not really.
You don't have to.
Right.
I don't like singing my own kids.
You guys are horrible human beings. Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy
birthday, dear Ketchum.
Happy birthday to you.
So that was depressing because Jason and Alex Anwar did not match your enthusiasm.
No.
So what it sounded like was we were at like an office space. I felt like that was the most pathetic, forced to sing to the boss happy birthday. That usually comes, I see that in the movies.
Yeah.
It's one of those, it's like, if I should be appreciative, I am appreciative. You guys heard that, right?
I mean, I was happy to sing it.
Anwar, you're standing with me.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've been through a lot this week. Like, you deserved a happy birthday song. I thought was, but I guess not all of us.
I think I heard Alex say a niner. Like, I couldn't quite even make out what he was mumbling. And since he used to be in a band, I thought he would at least
break out the guitar.
Yeah. I thought you'd be on time, and you were a little behind. It just was.
I'm always going to be a little bit behind, man. All you guys don't understand what it's like to sit in the pocket.
You're right. You're right.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
Exactly.
Anyway, guys.
Anyway, happy birthday to you, Catch.
Happy birthday.
You have a fantastic day.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, guys, hit that thumbs up button if you want to give me a present. Like, we'll take some likes on the video, subscribe to the channel. We do appreciate it. I promise you. We passed 19,000 subscribers this week, on our way to 20 and beyond. Thanks for everything that all of you guys do in supporting us, whether you're in the Specs chat, typing it up, or you're just watching later and you're not in the Specs chat. But regardless, we appreciate you watching the video. We hope we've entertained you and informed you a little bit. If nothing else, you may have seen that Fox graphic like Jason did for the first time. And like, what the hell was that? So we were able to give you that and maybe a few laughs along the way. Hopefully we were able to do so. You guys have a great rest of the day. Stay out of the rain if you're out in it. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Later.